Okay, of that data model. Next one, of the data model. And an attribute is a place in the database that holds the information, that holds the information. For example, if we're to create, if we're to create a data dictionary, they're representing the articles here and bringing the gap. Okay, we potentially have attribute for article title. Example, we are talking about this, the article title, the article author, the category, article category, and the article content. Okay. So this dictionary is typically organized in a spreadsheet format. Okay, spreadsheet means we can see Excel. In the Excel, it is a rows and columns like this. Okay, spreadsheet format. The each attribute is listed in as a row in a spreadsheet, and each it is in a column. That is in this is a row, and this is a column. Okay, so this is in a spreadsheet. It is, but whereas in the DBMS is just like storage, which organized various methods. It is the storage we have to access using methods. So this is the spreadsheet Excel it is. But in the SQL, if you say database, we have discussed the SQL. That also will store the data in the table manner. Store in the table manner. But in the table manner, from this table, if we want to access the data, we have to apply some methods. Okay. What kind of methods it is? Like indexing method, hashing method, P plus T method, RAID, etc. All these methods we have to apply to access the data from the database. This is the data. Here, your data is there here. Okay. Example, you can say 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the kind of data is available in the database. This is a database. This is the database. The database in the data in the database. The data in the database. If we want to access this data from the database, we are applying the methods. Indexing method, hashing method, B plus T method, and RAID method. Okay. These are the methods we are applying to access. Now, whereas indexing is used to optimize the performance of the database by minimizing the number of disk access required when queries processed. So what is indexing method saying is, indexing is saying it is used to optimize the performance of a database. So it is maximum it is trying to increase the performance. Okay, by minimizing the number of disk access required. Okay, when the queries to be processed, when the query is to be processed from the database, okay, it is utilizing indexing method is utilizing the query process to optimize the performance of the database. Okay. Now this index is a type of data structure, please. The index is a type of data structure which is used to locate and access the data in a database table quickly. Okay. So index is a what a type of data structure which is used to locate and access the data in a database table very quickly. So this is the advantage with the indexing method. The advantage of the indexing method. Okay. See next. So this is where the introduction to the database access. So what we understood from here. So there is a database is there. There is a database. Okay. In the database, the data is there. Like the data is there. This data, if you want to access, we are applying the methods. Indexing method, hashing method, B plus tree method, RAID method, these are all. Okay. Here, indexing method is a type of data structure. So by using this indexing method, we are used to access the data from the database table very quickly. This is what the indexing method is applied. Now, what exactly the data dictionary is? Data dictionary is, at this point, if you see everyone uh, have an idea about the what is data dictionaries. Okay. Excuse me. So it is a dictionary about the data we store in the database. That we store in the database. It contains all the information about the data objects. It contains the all the information about the data objects. It is like storing all up-to-date information about objects. Okay. It is objects like tables, columns, index, constraints, and functions, etc. So this is the kind of information it is storing. Okay. So why we need the question arises that why we need this information. The question arises, why do we need all this information then? So it makes an easily identify, access, and understand the factors about the object. See, if these are there, if these many are there, we can easily understand. We can easily access the objects. Okay, we can easily access the object. So one main, so one can imagine that the data dictionary as which is storing information about one example we are taking here, related to house. One example we are taking. Example here is house name. Example I'm drawing here. This is a table. This is house name like this. Then this is an address. This is an address. Okay. So like this there. So how many live in this house? So who is the eldest and our youngest person? Okay. What are the responsibilities of the each member in the house? Okay. Are personal details of an employee in the company. So in the case of a table, so data dictionary provides information about its name. So if we can store all this data in the database, so we can come to know that what are these all roles and responsibilities. So immediately we can come to know that all these roles and responsibilities of the particular object immediately. Okay, that is the database data dictionary. Now, next one is, if you see this, the sample data dictionary here, this is sample data dictionary. So only few of columns are showing in this data dictionary, just for an idea. Yes. Let's see. Now see this. See, this is a query. This is a query as applied. Select star from user tables. This is a table. This is select command. So when applied this command, it is accessed the data from the database of the particular object. Object here is what? User table is an object. This is an object. This is an object. So here this is a table name. This is a table space name. This is a customer name. Now, this is another status. So these are all columns are there. Okay. So when we apply this query is accessing this table, these tables. Okay. These many tables are there in the database. Student is one table, lecturer is one table, course is one table, subject is one table. These many tables are available in the database. So these are all databases we can access. If we can store in the database. If we don't store, we can't access all these data. Now, just from the above example, see the definition of all database objects. So now just we have seen tables of views, constraints, indexes, clusters, synonyms, sequences, procedures, functions, packages, triggers. So these are all that object contains. Okay. These are all the database object contains. Next, it stores the information about how much space is allocated for each object. See, not only the database not only stores the data, the database not only stores the data, it also stores the space. How much space is required for the database? It stores the information about how much space is allocated for each object. Okay. Just before the table, you can observe here. Now, this is one object, one object, one object, one. So how much space is allocated for each object and how much space has been used by them. Okay, this is the table space, right? So this is the information it will contain. Okay. Now, any default values that column can have are also stored. Database users names, then access rights for schemas on each of the object, and when it is updated, last updated, and when it is accessed, information about the object. See, when you access anything from the database, so at what time it is accessed, okay, that is time, okay, and last update it is when it is updated last, okay, the previous history. So these are all details it will stores. So any other database information, these are all it will stores. Next, types of database data dictionary. There are two types of data dictionary are there. One is active and one is passive. One is active and one is passive. These are two dictionaries, two types of data dictionary. So what is active data dictionary? Any changes to the database object structures via DDL. DDL means what? Data definition languages. So any changes to the database object structure Okay, this is a database. Database. Database object structure. This is okay. So any changes if we modify any changes in this structure through DDLs, means data definition languages. Data definition language contains some commands. That means from any DDL commands, if we change of this database structure, it will have to be reflected in the data dictionary. Okay, in this table, in this table, if we change any structure, if we change any kind of structure through data definition language commands, that has to be reflected, that update to be reflected in the data dictionary. Okay, that is what the meaning is. Means it's active data dictionary means. But updating the data dictionary tables for the changes are responsible of database in which data dictionary exists. So, but updating the data dictionary tables, further changes are responsible. So if we change anything, so it must be updated in the data dictionary. It is the responsible of the particular DDLs. Okay, this is what the data active data dictionary is talking about. If the data dictionary is created in the same database, okay, that means if the data dictionary is created in the same database, example is what example here see same database. These are the databases. These are the databases. The databases. If the data dictionary is created in the same database, then the DBMS software will automatically update the data dictionary. That means this database, in this database itself, the data dictionary is there. DD. The data dictionary and the database. This is a database. This is a database. It is a database dictionary. Data dictionary. If both are in the same database, okay. So what is the job of the DBMS software? It should automatically update the data dictionary. So when it will update the data dictionary, if we change any structure of this database by using the DDL commands, in this database structure, immediately that will reflect in the data dictionary also. That will reflect in the data dictionary also. That is the meaning. Okay. Hence, there will not be any mismatch between actual structure and the data dictionary details. So such a type of dictionary is called active data dictionary. So example, you can say our transactions. Whenever we withdraw money from the account, immediately it is reflecting in our account balance without any delay. So that means that there is no mismatch between how much money the bank is having, how much money we are deposited or we have in the account. They both will be same. There will not be any confusion, mismatch. That means immediately the database will take a update. So without any delay, such type of structure is called data dictionary. That is active data dictionary. So active data dictionary means whenever any change in the database structure in the database, immediately that will reflect in the data dictionary also. This is called active data dictionary. Okay. Now, what is the passive data dictionary? What is the passive data dictionary. What is the passive data dictionary? Example you see. In some of the databases, data dictionary is created separately from the current database as the entirely new database to store only data dictionary information. So try to understand this statement. In some of the databases, data dictionary is created separately. That means this is the data dictionary. This is the data dictionary. It is in separate place. Let's say this is in T drive. Separate place from the current database. That means current database is in somewhere else. This is the current database. Example, this is in T drive. Okay. As an entirely new database to store only data dictionaries information. So what will happen then? Sometime it is stored as some kind of file, XML, Excel, or any other file format. In such a case, an effort is required to keep data dictionary in sync with the database object. That means this database is in one place and this data dictionary is in one place. So if we change any kind of structure change, if we change any kind of structure change in a database, it has to be synced with the data dictionary. This is a very little difficult job, but we have to take a proper requirements. That means an effort is required. Effort means here what is we have to take care of immediately. It is required to keep the data dictionary in sync with the database objects. So this kind of data dictionary is called passive data dictionary. So in this case, what will happen? There is a chance of mismatch with the database objects and the data dictionary. So this kind of data dictionary has to be handled with utmost care. Okay. In active data dictionary, what happened? In active data dictionary, immediately whenever we change the database structure, immediately it will reflect in the data dictionary. In the passive data dictionary, the database is in somewhere, the data dictionary is in somewhere. So whenever we change the data, whenever change anything in the database structure, it may not immediately reflect in the data dictionary. So this kind of update we have to take care of very carefully. This is called passive data dictionary. This is passive data dictionary. The passive data dictionary. So understood, right? What is active data dictionary? Then what is passive data dictionary? Okay. Now see the structure of data dictionary. Structure of data dictionary. Since the data dictionary has data about the database objects, it forms the base for the entire database. Hence, the information in the data dictionary are stored in the cryptic form and is not accessible any user for modification. So they are talking about the what is data dictionaries. Data dictionary has about the database objects. Okay, that means it's a data dictionary. Okay, the data dictionary. This data dictionary Data dictionary is having about the database objects. Okay. It forms the base for the entire database. That means the data dictionary forms it is a base. It's a base for entire database. It is a base for entire database. See, that is this underline. This is the higher level, top level. So this is the database objects. It's a base. So hence the information in the data dictionary are stored. That means in this data dictionary, the information is stored in the cryptic format and is not accessible to any user for modification. So in this data dictionary, the data is in the uh, unidentified form. So any user directly cannot access this data dictionary, cannot modify this data dictionary. Okay. When a query is fired to database, that means the query is coming from here. This is the query. When the query is fired to database, the DBMS software fetches in the data dictionary for the objects and the details. So query is coming from the user and database is taking, it is going to the data dictionary and fetching the data and giving to the user. Okay. So the user cannot directly applying any kind of modifications on the data dictionary. Okay. So this is what the DBMS software which fetches the data dictionary for the objects and the details. So then it searches in the core memory. Core memory for the stored data and performs the requested transactions. So it is an underlying DBMS software which access the data dictionary tables. So still sometimes DBA, database administrators, or the users or developers, okay, they want to see the information about some of data objects. So in such cases, what will happen? The views on that these tables are created and given read-only operation. Okay, that means only the users can access for only read-only purpose. Okay, they can't modify anything. They can't modify. They can only read it. Only for view purpose, they can access the data. Okay, this is what the data dictionary is about. Okay. Now all the information about the database is stored in the database, in the base tables. Just now we discussed the base table is what data dictionary. This is the base table, data dictionary. So all the information about the database, that is, this is the database. This is the database. This database, all the information stored in the data dictionary. Okay. So that all the information about the database is stored in the database tables, the base tables. These are base tables, which are owned by system schema. These are data dictionary tables are owned by SYS. That is SYS schema. Okay. SYS schema. So only the DBMS would read and write to the database tables. Read and write to the database table. Okay. No user is given access to these tables. That means any user, any user cannot access to these tables directly. Okay. Altering any of these tables will crash the whole database. So if any user trying to access these data dictionary tables, so it may crash the entire database. So hence the user is not given access. So any changes to any of the objects will be automatically made to reflect in database tables by the DBMS only. If any kind of modification to be made in the data dictionary that's responsible by only DBMS software, the user cannot access the data dictionary. If they try to access the data dictionary, the database completely may be crashing. So because of this reason, the any kind of modification is taken care by the DBMS software only. Okay. Now at this level, now any changes, this is also which is known as internal level of the data dictionary. Is also known as what internal level of the data dictionary. Now at this level, most of the information would be in the cryptic form, unidentified form it is. Okay. Now views on these base tables are created in the system schema. So where it will create in the system schema, these all data dictionary views are created. And the users are given only read-only access on these views. So users given only what permission, only read-only permission they can given. They cannot alter any kind of data in the data dictionary directly without DBMS software. Only the DBMS software is the responsible for to modify any kind of data in the data dictionary. Okay. So these views will be provide decoded summary about the base tables. Okay. This level is known as external level or user accessible views. Okay. This is user accessible views. Now see that this is the diagram you see the system schema. This is the system user views. Okay. The system schema contains the database tables like this, and the users given permission to access only for readable purpose. Now, in the system schema, the dictionary views give a list of all tables and views present in the database along with the comments of each table. Comments of each table. Now, see the sample query. This is sample query. This is sample query. So when we apply this query, select star from dictionary. Now this table is got displayed. Okay, this table is got displayed. Now see data dictionary overview architecture. You can see just draw the architecture for better understanding. Give a few seconds to draw the architecture. Yes. Now based on the accessibility rights, data dictionary provides three views. Okay. What the data dictionary is providing? It is providing three types of views. Three types of views. One is user level, one is all, then one is DBA. Okay. So based on what condition it is, based on accessibility rights, based on this condition, the data dictionary is providing the three levels of views. One is user level, one is all, and one is DBA level. These are the three levels of views. Okay. I will see one by one. The user view, which lists only those tables. Okay, user view, this one. The user view, which list means which can access. Okay, access only those tables which are created by the current schema or user schema. So which are created by the current schema or user schema, only those tables only the user can access. Okay. It does not list the tables and views of other schemas. Okay. Nor the ones to which it has access. Okay. Other schema created tables and views the user view cannot access. Okay. Only the current schema and the user schema created tables only the user level can access. Okay. The other views cannot access. So it is not possible. Okay. So the next category is what is a user level. User view. User view can access only the database schema created by user, current user, or current schema. Okay. So these are type of tables only it can access views on. The next one is all. Next one is all. They all view list all the tables and views that are owned by the current user as well as those tables and views to which it has access. Okay. So what is the all view is talking about? The all view is which list the tables and views which are owned by the current user as well as those tables and views to which it has access. Okay. That means it lists the tables and views that are created by it and those tables and views of other user schema to which it has access. Okay. This is the all view. This is the all. Okay. This one is what? Yes. This one all view. This is the user view. This is all. Next, this is DBA. Okay. It's a DBA view. Now, what is DBA view will have access to all those tables and the views of all the users and schema. So DBA is having the all kinds of privileges, That is, the DBA view can have access to all the tables and all the views of all users and schema. All users and schema that the DBA can access. But these views will be accessible by only those who have DBA privileges. So I said just now, which are having the complete DBA privileges, those DBAs only can access all these users and schema views. Okay. These are the three types of views. These are the three types of views. Three types of views. So tables and views in these views are prefixed by the view name. So how to create a view means these are talking about the creating the views. Okay. Next, we will see what are the little advantages of data dictionary and disadvantages of data dictionary. If we see advantages of data dictionary. So there is a lot of advantages of data dictionary is there, but very little things we are pointing out here. So data dictionary, which gives the well-structured and clear information about the database. Okay, your well-structured and clear information means the table contains all kind of headings and columns like this. So that a table contains. It gives the well-structured and clear information about the database. So that is one can analyze the requirements, any redundancy like duplicate columns, tables, etc. Since it provides a good documentation on each object, it helps to understand the requirement and design to the great extent. Okay, that is one advantage. That is one advantage. Next one is, which is very helpful for the administrator or any new DBA to understand the database. Since it has all the information about the database, the DBA can easily able to track any problem is there in the database. Okay. So since database is very huge, okay, so database generally will not be small. Database is very huge. That means lot of tables, lot of columns will be there in the database. Not a 10 record, not a one record. It contains a lot of records. Okay, that's the reason the database is very huge, and it will have lots of tables, views, constraints, indexes. So a lot of things are there in the database. So it will be difficult for anyone to remember. Okay, that is the data dictionary helps user by providing all the details need. So that is the way it is helping. Now, see, little disadvantages are also there. Now, what are the little disadvantages? See, so creating a new data dictionary is a very big task. So what is the kind of disadvantage it is? Creating a new data dictionary is a very big task. Okay, it is not so easy. It is a very big task. It is creating new data dictionary. It will take a lot of efforts. Now, it will take no at least years to create one. So that's the reason a lot of people efforts involved in this creating the data dictionary. Lot of experts efforts will involve in this case. Okay. Now it should be very well designed in advance to take all the advantage of it. So otherwise, what will happen? It will create problems throughout its access time. Okay, throughout its access time. So if we don't create it properly, it will give a lot of problems. Okay, whenever you try to access, you may get some problems to while accessing. That is one problem. One problem is what? New dictionary creation, it will take a lot of time, a lot of experts involved in that. So it takes a lot of time. The second one is when you try to access, it will give a lot of problems when you try to access. The third one is the cost of data dictionary. The cost of data dictionary will be big high as it includes its initial build and hardware charges, maintenance. Okay. So these are the kind of disadvantages are there. So which the cost also very matter. The cost also important. So that is so it is about the data dictionary. It is about the data dictionary. So what we discussed now here, types of what is data dictionary, the types of data dictionary, that is active data dictionary and passive data dictionary. Then structure of data dictionary we have discussed. In the structure there are three levels. Three levels. So it is one is user view, then all view, then database view. That is the data dictionary views, or you can call architecture. So next, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the data dictionary also we have discussed. Now coming to one more method. One more method. So data dictionary is one kind of method to access data from the database. Okay. Next one, indexing methods. Indexing method. Now in DBMS, now just like the storage is organized using various methods, the storage also will be accessed using various methods such as indexing, hashing, B plus plus tree, read, etc. Okay. Now just read the diagram, read the paragraph once and draw this diagram. Draw this diagram once. The indexing methods. Now, what is indexing method? You just see. Now, just like storage is organized, okay, just like storage is organized using various methods, using various methods, and storage will also have the accessing methods. Okay, storage will have the organized using methods. Okay, to store data in the database, we have methods to store the data. Okay, to access this data also, we have methods. This is our database. The database to store any data, we have methods. That is storage methods. Okay. And after storing, we have to access the data. To access this data, we have the methods. So what are methods here? One is indexing method, hashing method, B plus tree method, then read method, etc. So out of these, we are talking about indexing method. Okay. We are talking about indexing method. Here, indexing is used to optimize the performance of database by minimizing the number of disk access required when a query is processed. Okay, that means the index is a type of data structure. Index is what is a type of data structure which is used to locate and access the data in the database table very quickly. Okay. The index is a type of data structure. It is used to locate and access the data in the database table quickly. Okay, we understand. Indexing is a type of data structure. It is. What is a data structure? It's a very big topic. We can see that data structure is a that type of execution flow. How we have to execute one logic, it is written in the data structure. Okay, by using the data structure only, the execution process will continue. Okay, so the indexing is a type of data structure it is. So indexing also one kind of data structure. So what it will does, it will use to locate and access data. Will locate access the data in a database table. So by using indexing, you can very quickly identify the database table. You can quickly identify the database table in the database. So this is what this diagram says. This is the key and this is the data reference. So index can be created using some database columns. So based on some columns, the key will be indexing will be created. So based on this indexing, you can identify the database tables in the database very quickly. This is what indexing method is talking about. Okay. Now see the first column of the database is the search key that contains which copy of the primary key or a candidate key of the table. So what is primary key? What is candidate key? We have discussed in the uh, constraint topic. The constraint topic we have discussed about these, the types of keys. The topic was, so in that we have discussed about what is the primary key, foreign key, candidate key, super key. These are all we have discussed. So the values of the primary key are stored in sorted order, stored in sorted order, so that the corresponding data can be accessed easily. Okay. Corresponding data can be accessed easily. The second column of database is the data records. This one. So it contains set of pointers. Contains the pointers holding the address of the disk block where the value of the particular key can be found. Value of the particular key can be found. So this is what the indexing method says. So there are types of indexing methods are there. There are types of indexing methods are there. You see, there are order indices are there, and primary index is there, clustering index is there, secondary index is there. Inside primary index, I can be divided into dense index and sparse index. Okay. These are the indexing methods types, the types of indexing methods. Now we will see one by one what it is. We'll see one by one. First one, see order indices. Order indices. The indices are usually sorted to make searching very faster. Okay, that is the indices which are sorted are known as ordered indices. Ordered, that means which is sorted. sorted. Okay. Suppose we have an employee table with thousands of records. Employee table is there. This employee table is having 1,000 records. Okay. Record 1, record 2, record 3, record 4, likewise. Likewise, 1,000 records are there. Okay. And each of which is 10 bytes long. Each record on horizontal, each record is having 10 bytes. Okay. If their IDs start with 1, 2, 3 counting numbers, so on, we have to search employee with the ID number 543. In that case, what will happen? The database with no index, we have to search the disk block from starting till 540. Okay, that means what? The DBMS will read the record after reading 543, that is 5430 bytes. So in this case, what will happen in the case of index? People search using indexes and DBMS with the record after reading 542 multiplied by 2. That is 1084 bytes only, which are very less compared to the previous case. Okay, that is what sorted order. So remaining topics we will discuss in the next class.